All right, folks, Jermaine Ferrell in the house. We have a special edition of Heart of the Game as we are in Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Day mode. And for this portion of the show, we are going to look at the Radford Bobcats. Joining me right now, he is in his 6th season. Gosh, 6 years, Coach. It's flown by.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Good stuff. Head coach of the Radford Bobcats is Michael Crist. And Coach Crist, first of all, thank you for participating in our media days this year.
Hey, thank you for having us. Always appreciate you guys supporting high school athletics and obviously particularly football.
Good deal. It's our pleasure. That's how we roll. Yeah, you said particularly football.
Well, hey, I appreciate that, but you do a great job with all high school athletics.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate that cast of thousands that help us. Only just take a few zeros off. We have that.
That's right.
Well, Coach, looking at last year, you went 7-5, lost to Glenver 27-3 in the Region 2C semifinals. But overall, just your overall impressions of last year going into this year.
We had a rough start last year. We were kind of combination got hit with some injuries all up front. And, that made it tough early. So we kind of struggled early, but then we improved greatly down the stretch. Obviously, as we matured, I thought we got better. But then also we got healthy. That was part of it. So I thought we were playing our best football at the end of the year. In the playoffs, we just ran into a super good team that was just better than us at that point.
It seems like when you guys match up in the district, I mean, your district 3 versus tough, but it seems like something extra with that Radford-Glenver matchup.
Yeah. For a while there, I think it came down to whoever had the ball last. Through my first, I think 4 games, all of them were all but one was essentially decided by one possession. It's been a little bit different, I guess, the last 2 years, but it's always a competitive deal. They're well coached. Coach Clifford does a great job. Got great athletes, so it certainly is a test.
Now, obviously, you've been in the coaching game for a minute, but particularly when you look at yourself being as a head coach in your 6th year, like we mentioned, it seems like it just blown by. Looking at your program, I mean, you have a state championship, you've coached some good players, and you've kept the train on the track when it comes to tradition at Radford football. But for you personally, coaches give back to their players a lot, not only when the game's going on in practice, but throughout a year, throughout everything. How valuable and important it is for you to be kind of that father figure, that mentor, that you help grow these young men?
Yeah, I think every program should have a mission statement, and ours is that the guys that play in our program have a better chance of success than if they didn't play in our program, right? So we do take it seriously to kind of develop guys beyond just being a football player, right? Develop them as human beings. And so it's something we do take pride in. We take as much pride in, a guy who finds his way to be ultra successful in the community, whether he went to college or not, as we do a guy who goes on and plays college football, right? And you can take a lot of different examples of that. We have some guys who are doing tremendous things in the workforce in our community. Then we take pride in, obviously, a Landon Clark and a Charlie Davis having great success playing college football, not to mention, I think I tallied it up. Maybe there was I think we had between 9 and 12, and I should have thought about that before, that played college football within those first 5 years. So it's pretty incredible, kind of a testament that we have great players. Parker Prelo at Emory, and Luke Woodard at Emory, and Nolan Dalton at Bluefield State, and Sincere Taylor at Concord, Brandon Thompson, Charlie Davis at Roanoke. And I feel like I could almost forget some. So somebody's probably going to be mad at me that I even went down that road.
You could do a disclaimer, say, "Hey, I'm not trying to omit you."
I'm just trying to go off the cuff there, and so we've had, obviously, and some guys are going to play college football this last class too. But then you take a Max Knipe who's doing great things in engineering at NC State, getting ready to work in. I think he's going to work in the Indy racing stuff. So just a lot of guys that have been successful. So it goes beyond just football. So we're proud of all those guys and put a lot of time into that. And then the reality is we want to have a staff where kids, want to be there, and certainly we can help those kids along the way.
How exciting is it to know that a football season is right on the horizon? It seems like every year we just wrapped up football season, and now here we are. As we're recording this, next week you start practice, and then a month from that point, you are actually going to play your first game of the season.
Yeah, it's I think this is year 14 as a head coach, and every year you think you're prepared, and then the last 2 weeks become like a big ball of stress, right? Because you realize it's there and you've got a lot to do to be ready for it. So there is excitement, but it also means there's a lot to get done in a short period of time to make sure we're fully prepared for that.
Now, two guys you brought up here today, and we'll talk to them in the next segment. It's going to be Reece Honaker, senior offensive and defensive lineman, and then Colten Garner-Rollins. Again, you got these law firm guys.
That's right.
These law firm no, Ryan loves them too. He loves those law firms. A senior wide receiver and defensive back. Just talk about those two guys, because obviously every year we ask you guys to bring a couple of guys. I know it's not an easy decision, but obviously there's a reason why you brought these two guys.
Sure. It isn't ever an easy decision, right? Because there's a lot of guys that are worthy of the chance to kind of be here and talk Radford football and talk about themselves a little bit. But you're talking about those two guys, just really high level of work ethic. They're on our leadership council. They care about the program. Both have been 4-year starters. Both started on that state championship team. Reece just committed to ETSU as an offensive lineman, so huge to get that D1 offer and commitment there. Came down to a couple really quality schools. I think J.C. Price, former tech assistant, and former Radford Bobcat coach, had a lot to do with that, recruited him really hard down the stretch. So that's exciting for him, right? That was his dream. So to see that, come to fruition, and then, you're talking about a top-notch education that's paid for. So I know we always, now it's like NIL and everything else, but, free education's setting you apart from probably, 97% of the world. Mm-hmm. So really big deal there. And then you got Colten, who started some as a freshman at wide receiver on that state championship team. Huge catch in the region championship when we came back on that last drive to beat Glenver. But just over the years, done a great job for us. Great job in leadership. Colton's kind of one of those kids who can kind of understand where a lot of kids are and helps other kids in the program. So two quality people on top of great football players.
At the end of the day, Coach, what do you think will be the key to you guys having the success you expect and hope to have in 2026?
Sure. Got to stay healthy, right? Our schedule's tough. I mean, even our out of district schedule with, George Wythe and Giles, and you throw in William Byrd, right? That's a tough matchup for a school our size. So staying healthy is key. And I think it's developing the guys up front, right? Typically we've been blessed with some really quality skill players, but we've always had to develop those guys up front. Not to saying they're not good or anything like that, but just, Reece is kind of that prototypical 6'4", 285, which is great, but they're don't all have that all have that build. So we got to develop those guys up front, and is really however good they get will determine our success.
Every coach I talk to, it's always in the trenches, but that's number one. But number two, and they might be 1A and 1B, the weight room. I mean, You talk about getting your job done, getting the work done, it's that weight room. If you could just talk about just the value of that, because these coaches, they live, breathe that weight room, and they preach about the weight room.
Well, it's huge, right? And I think there's a lot of different things that come from it. Sure, absolute strength is at the top of that list, but I think you develop so many intangibles, right? There's a work ethic that comes from there. You can't cheat the weights, right? So there's an accountability system of what it takes to be fully committed, and things are year-round now in terms of your commitment in the strength and conditioning program. If your guys aren't involved year-round, you're going to have a hard time competing. But I think what it does is that just gives you a chance to be successful, right? We know Glenver lifts weights, right? I know that George Wythe lifts weights, and all those people that we play, Floyd County, all those guys, they all lift, right? So that just gives us a chance to compete with them. So it's kind of the bare minimum that has to be done.
And Coach, looking at again your schedule, first 4 on the road, so you don't see Norm Lindenberg field till October.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. We lived at home last year, and then obviously this is the second year of that cycle. So we're gonna be road warriors those first 4 games, and obviously tough opponents too. Georgia Wythe's a tough place to play. Giles a tough place to play. They got tradition. They're well coached. So opening up with those 2 obviously can be really tough.
Real quick, when you look at a schedule, I mean, obviously it's the opponents, it's the, when and where, and probably more times than not, you like to have 5 at home, 5 on the road, but kind of more of a balance. You really don't want to play maybe more than 2 at home at one time or 2 on the road. So how do you kind of coordinate that? Because obviously it's the dance partners you work with, you're the teams you play, but it's kind of like you said, like last year you start off with 4 home games, but now when the schedule flips, you got 4 to start off on the road.
Yeah, our schedule just got off kilter, I guess in 25, right? Or no, we've been 4 and 6 for 2 cycles, so it just kind of got off kilter. First off, and then that kind of left us with the 4 and 6. And then when we can't remember exactly how it played out, but we ended up lopsided beginning of the season, end of the season. It's just so much, so many moving parts to that. Who can play, what dates work, and then when we had that success, like you don't have a lot of opponents signing up to play you. But there were some obviously that still were willing to play, but the one date we could work that was kind of made geographical sense was Williamsburg,
Right.
And, I don't know, again, that's a tough matchup for a school our size. So it's just kind of how it works with their schedules, and we ended up lopsided. I think we're going to get back to 5-5 next cycle though.
Good deal. Not the record 5-5, but just 5 home 5.
5 home,
Because
5 away.
because you don't want to be 4 and 6 or 6. You want 5.
Hey, we don't want that. That's right.
Well, Coach Crist, again, it's always a joy having you here, and we're not done talking about Radford Bobcats football, because guess what we have on the other side? We're going to have a couple of Coach Crist players, and Reece Honaker and Colten Garner-Rollins, the law firm, the sequel of the law firm. We have all that coming up next as we continue our Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Days on a special edition of Hardee Game. Stick and stay, please. All right, folks, welcome back to our special edition of Hardee Games, Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Days. And the focus right now is on the Radford Bobcats. And joining me right now to talk about the Radford Bobcats, we had Coach Crist earlier, but now it is the Players' Lounge, as they say. I just started that just now. We're going to have a senior offensive lineman and defensive lineman, Reece Honaker, who has committed to East Tennessee State University, word on the street. And then Colten Garner-Rollins, another law firm. He's a senior wide receiver and defensive back. And guys, thank you so much for participating in our media days.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, guys, 7-5 last year. Tough loss to Glenver in Glenver in the Region 2C semifinals. Just your thoughts about, your season last year and, of course, leading into this year.
So I think we had a really good season last year. I feel like our team grew a lot, and we were a little bit younger this year, but I feel like we have a lot of seniors coming back this year that will help lead us, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I think we finished really well, but we could have started better. But we do have a lot of guys coming back. I think we're ready for a good year.
And then, Coach mentioned, you guys got off to a tough start, but you got your traction later on. How important is it, because now you got another year under your belt, but how important is it to get off to a good start?
I think it's very important for us, especially with the games that are at the beginning of the season. I think that, it's really important to build momentum early.
Yeah, I think if you get off to a good start, it's easy to just keep going because you have momentum and energy. And you can carry that over to the playoffs and go from there.
Now, I got to ask you a question. And I've always asked questions of the players when it comes to hair because I'm frolically challenged. But when you look at the hair game, I mean, are y'all kind of the top of top of the food chain when it comes to the hair game of the program?
I'd say we're the top two.
Yeah, Gavin Myers also, he has the real red hair. And
He got red hair?
Yeah.
And it flows, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it flows.
You know, and there are players who love the hair come out of the back of the helmet.
I know.
Like, there's a standard they got to look at it. Like, I remember when I was playing, you know, Coach really didn't like hair coming from out of the helmet. Now it's like, okay, you do whatever you want.
Yes,
you know, newer time. And speaking of coaches, Coach Crist, what has he meant to you guys?
He's meant a lot to me, especially as a role model, just to encourage me throughout this whole process of my high school career. He's helped me grow on and off the field.
Colten.
Yeah, he's been a lot to me. Kind of like a father figure, you know. Even since like first day I met him, 7th grade, you know, been the same. You know, he's a good guy.
Talk about some funny moments that you guys have had with Coach Crist. Are there any that you? Well, I guess the question is: are there any that have? I'm sure there have been, but are there any that you can actually tell us on the pod here?
I like to say one time, sophomore year, it was raining really hard, and we had the class, but we were stuck in the building because it was pouring so bad, and we didn't come. We didn't come to class, so we went to another class to just wait for the rain, and he called the office and called us down on the big intercom in front of the whole school. It was so embarrassing.
He said, "Law firm, come see me." That's good stuff. And then, you know, Reece, I got to ask you this, and again, I got this from Coach during our interview.
Yes, sir.
What was it like being recruited by J.C. Price? I mean, you know, former Bobcat. I mean, obviously, you know, J-Tech player, interim head coach, assistant coach. You know, what was it like being recruited by him?
It was really cool. It was a full circle moment, I think, for him. He just talked about every time I came up, he's like, go Bobcats. And one time I came down and he sung the fight song for me, and I was laughing. But no, it was really cool. He's a great guy, and it was like having a piece of home at ETSU. So I really like that part about it too.
Pretty good. I gotta say, your goatee game pretty tight. I thought mine. I look at mine. That's. I mean, normally, you know, you see players maybe a stash, maybe beard.
Yes, sir.
You just and it doesn't connect like law firm. Yours doesn't really connect. But and I'm not dogging you. I'm just saying because you know when you're younger, it's hard to connect.
Yes, sir.
But that's you might got goatee of the area.
Thank you.
Yeah, you took pride in that. You've been growing.
Yes, sir.
Making sure, like, because see, the thing is, you're a lineman. That's probably intimidate people.
Yes,
see you with a goatee or something like that. But then again, they would be intimidated by your speed. You be breaking one in the clear, don't you say? Now, obviously, you guys were part of the state championship team. It seems like, even though it kind of seems like a long time, but it really hasn't been a long time. So how have you guys used that moment? Because you guys know what you can do. You guys have seen the mountaintop. You know, you've seen when, you know, coach runs up in there and puts the trophy in your hand. You're like, hey, here you go. So how are you guys have used that to help you? Because you got one more shot at it this year.
Sir. I feel like that year we had a lot of great leaders and role models like Landon and Charlie and Max and Brandon, all of them that helped me grow personally my freshman year, and just the lessons I've learned from them. Like this team this year reminds me a lot of the freshman team, so I'm really excited about it.
There you go. Colten.
It was pretty fun to just be a part of that team. Our work together that year was really, really good. I think this year is kind of similar to that. So I'm going to try to duplicate that and just get things over.
Some good stuff right there. And then, you know, you mentioned leadership. And on that team, you had leaders. Now you guys will look upon as leaders. What do you feel is and I'll start with Colten, what do you feel is the important key of being a good leader?
Being vocal. Coach always says, like, this is like, being a leader and I guess kind of like coming off as like rude, you know, but just being vocal, making your presence felt. Yeah.
I think that too. And then also your actions. I feel like just everything you do, finish through the line and just full effort every single rep.
You know, I have to say this about both of you guys, and again, I'm not trying to be funny, so y'all might think I am. You know, I'm not going to be, you know, they're not going to confuse me with Kevin Hart or anybody. But it's there you go. It seems like you guys just have a look about you, like a pro look or like major college pro look.
Yes, sir.
And obviously that has to help because, you know, when people look at you guys, to me, you guys look like leaders.
Thank you.
And you guys look like, you know, if someone sees you, like, hey, these guys have the it factor. How cool is it to have that experience? Because if I notice it and coach notices it, your teammates notice that.
Yes, sir.
I was supposed to get a response from that, but that's okay. You don't want to co-sign it. That's all right. I was expecting something on it, but we just it was like a pause. Like, hey, that's right. That's how we roll.
Yes, sir.
Looking at the schedule. Now, last year, you guys, for the first half of the year, y'all were chilling at Norm Lindenberg Field, but this year, you won't see a home game at Norm Lindenberg Field till October. Mm-hmm. So you got 4 straight road games. What's the mentality you got to have tackling that schedule? Because it's 4 straight out the gate, and they're not easy opponents either, by the way.
Yep. Playing every game like it's the last one, just going in, mindset of just to win, nothing else, I
think staying focused, just even though we might have longer drives or something, but keeping that focus on our goal.
I got to ask you both this question, and actually it's the first time I've asked a player this since we've been doing this all week. What is something that people don't know about you both, and Colten, you can go first, or, Reece, what is something people don't know about you that they would be surprised to know about you?
Probably, I'd say, I don't know, I play tennis, so probably I play tennis. Maybe that.
Play tennis?
Yeah.
Are you good?
I'm all right.
You're good too at tennis.
I'd probably say the same thing.
Yeah.
We both started tennis the same year, and it was a lot of fun.
Y'all play on the Bobcat tennis team?
Yes,
we do.
Wow, I didn't know.
Partners.
Y'all doubles partners.
Doubles together.
Wow, talk about the odd couple, not to be offensive, but yeah, I would not, if you would have, I probably could have been here all day long guessing, and I wouldn't have known that you both are tennis players.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How about that? Okay, who's the better tennis player?
Oh, sir.
I probably say we're all the same, actually.
Yeah, no, we're all
probably about the same.
Yeah. Well, who's a tennis player that you guys look at right now that you kind of look up to or admire their play?
Maybe Brady Sutherland.
Be bucket for Wimbledon or the U.S. Open right there. I guess I got to ask you this, guys. At the end of the day, what do you think will be the key to you guys having the success you expect and hope to have?
I'd say just being humble, working hard, and just trusting our work, just singing to our level of training, and do that. That success this year.
I agree. And just keeping our head down and working really hard and keeping our chemistry together.
How ready are y'all? Because next week, as we're recording this, you guys will hit the practice show for the first time. Yes, y'all ready for that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
We are. Yeah. Can't wait.
Does it seem like it kind of blows by real quick? Like you just finished the season and then you have your off season and that's important. But then, hey, a month after that practice, you guys were ready to hit the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so me and Coach were talking about that on the way here. We were like, it's crazy how fast it's come up, but we put the work in and I can't wait for it.
I guess the $1 million question, I asked it off camera, I'm going to ask it on camera. Has he fed y'all before you came up, or is he feeding you afterwards? That's really the big question.
Probably neither.
Neither? Okay. Y'all got to work out afterwards?
We do have practice this evening.
Later today,
so y'all probably don't want something big, though.
Yeah, nothing
there you go. Good deal. What is y'all's go-to food? Like, during the season, you can't eat all the junk, but what's your go-to food? What's your guilty food, like a guilty pleasure food that you probably shouldn't be eating right before a game or anything? And Coach, probably, cover your ears, by the way.
Before a game, probably some nerd clusters, some gummies.
Good deal.
They're probably like ACP, like a big portion of ACP. I love ACP. That's my favorite. But I won't eat it.
No, you can't eat that. That's huge.
I'll throw up or something.
You ain't kidding. Get the bucket out there. Be like that. And I gotta ask this question: what's y'all's favorite football movie? Is there a football movie you like that you?
I like Remember the Titans. That's my favorite.
Is that yours? Yours too?
I'd probably Remember the Titans. Actually, yeah. I'd go with that too.
I tell you this, and we air this on the CW. I love All American. That's a cool TV. Have y'all watched that?
Yes, sir.
You like All American?
I do.
Yeah. Now they have a newer class, which these kids are probably y'all's age because they're actually, and I don't know if they're actually high school age because they're probably a hair older, but you guys could be like those guys, like Spencer James.
Yes, sir.
Spencer James or Jordan Baker. I know there's some others out there. I keep forgetting, but this is the last season of it, by the way.
I know that.
Yeah. Cool. See, you come in here, you learn something new every day.
Yes, sir.
Well, of course, guys, we have Reece Honaker, ETSU, and then who's going to ETSU. He's still Radford Bobcat.
Yes, sir.
And then the law firm, another law firm on the squad, of course, Colten Garner-Rollins, getting it done. And guys, thank you so much for being on our Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Days. We look at the Radford Bobcats.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Good deal. And, of course, don't forget, if you want to check out not only the preview of the Radford Bobcats, but all the previews that we've had during our Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Days, you can go to WFXR Plus, download the app. It's on. And, again, Dan, the man. Again, Dan, we haven't done it yet, but get the hand in there real quick. Thank you. There you go. Thumbs up. Until I mess it up, and it'll be thumbs down. But you can check it out on the Fire TV, Apple TV, download that on your smart TV, Samsung, Roku, any one of those combinations. If you have it, download it, and you can look at these pretty faces over here with the Bobcats, as well as any of the other previews that we have. And then also coming up, we start our previews at the latter end of next week. Of course, we will have the schedule of all your previews that we have on WFXRTV.com as well as WFXR. That'll be on our website. So we have all that cooking right there. So for now, for Colten, Reece, and of course, the great Coach Crist, I'm Jermaine Ferrell. Hope all your teams are winners. Thanks for watching the Radford Bobcats edition of the Hardee's Friday Night Blitz Media Days and a special edition of Heart of the Game. Hope all your teams are winners. Have a wonderful and blessed day, night, morning, anytime you watch this. Everybody,